What's up, everybody? ArrgThePirate here, and today we're going to play a little Camazotz in the solo lane. Now, he's one of the assassins that I feel is very strong in the solo lane, but as always, let's go over his kit. Now, I have Warrior's Blessing, Morning Star, 3 healing potions, 2 mana potions, teleport glyph for that first 1500 gold, and then I'm going to build into a Warrior Tabby, Transcendence, Midgardian Mail, the Crusher, and Sealay, Stone of the Cutting Sword, and then, pick up wards, and I'm going to get Blink for my last relic. You really just kind of have to build what you think you need, but I want to put some protections and a little extra health on Camazotz when he's in the solo lane. And just right there, guys, I show you the power of Camazotz. Oh, man, he wrecks, man. He just wrecks. But let's go over his kit and then kind of talk about what we're going to do with his kit. So first up, we have his one, Screech. Now, this is what you want to start out with. Camazotz screeches loudly and launches a sound wave that pierces through minions and deals damage. If the screech hits an enemy god, the sound wave will echo. If Camazotz is hit by an echo, he gains vision on that god that was hit with screech for 15 seconds and gains bonus physical power. In rank 1, you get 20 physical power. So with this build that I have, I'm going to have 30 power with that Morning Star, and, at less than a minute into the game, having 30 power is absolutely huge, and it really allows you to either clear that wave really quickly or just go in on that god. Now, the next ability I pick up is Devourer, and one reason I want to pick up Devourer second is not only does it provide a little bit of escape, but it is a pretty decent heal. Camazotz leaps forward for a short distance, dealing damage on impact and healing himself per enemy hit. And unlike some of the other gods that, up to 3 enemies, Camazotz, if you hit an entire wave, you'll get 15 health per minion. And so, I mean, you can just out-heal like crazy. And you see there, we're able to take Osiris down again. Camazotz has a very strong early game compared to most warriors. And I think that's where, if you get a warrior in lane, you're probably going to be okay. Next up, we have Vampire Bats. Camazotz commands a swarm of bats to fly out and attack a single target, damaging and slowing them by 30% for 3 seconds, and then carrying the bats to go back and heal. If the target was a large jungle minion, they will be marked, and Camazotz will receive a heal as well as a stackable vampirism buff that lasts 210 seconds. Marked monsters will not provide Camazotz with another stack of vampirism. So if you see here, that's exactly what we do. We're going to hit that big minion. You see the bone, dinosaur bone cross above his head. Once we hit them, or I'm just going to go ahead and kill them. But you can see I've got that huge vampirism buff. And the buff is 3% physical lifesteal and increased healing. This is huge, guys. Make sure to try to get that on somebody. Really look at your blue buff. And once you hit level 3, really look at your blue buff. And you want to at least mark it if you're not going to down it, which, at this point, if you're playing Cam, you should be able to down your blue buff without any effort on your jungle's part. Now, Camazotz ultimate is the one where he flies straight up, bat out of hell. Camazotz flies into the air for 4 seconds. While flying, he may swoop forward and deal damage. He may do this up to 3 times, landing on the 3rd time. Hitting more than one god in a single swoop deals increased damage. So really, if you can get into a team fight and swoop down 3 times, but you're doing tons of damage, and the bonus is 10%, so it's pretty decent. Lastly, we have his passive Essence Drinker. Camazotz has a passive vampirism buff. Also, anytime a god dies, he leaves behind a pool of their essence in a spot where they were slain. Camazotz may stand in these pools and drink their essence every 0.5 seconds, replenishing health and mana. And you can see those little purple circles all over the mini-map. We get a ton of them here in a little bit, but that's awesome. It's great sustain. It's a very good passive. And it also allows you to heal up after a big fight. If like, for instance, I've got a couple of those down right now, it really allows me to just stand in there and heal up even if I've taken a bunch of poke. One thing about this skin, though, is you can see that kind of yellow puddle on the ground, kind of in between me and the tower. They're very hard to see with this skin. And I'm not colorblind. I'm not colorblind at all. I can see all the colors of the rainbow. But those light kind of see-through, pastel-y, weird colors, they're very difficult for me to see in this game. Like Thorns is really hard for me to see, like, especially when we're in a fight and explosions are going on everywhere. I can't see someone that has Thorns on and I'll end up killing myself on them every time. Alright, and before we get into the gameplay, guys, you really want to start with your 1. Start your rotation with the 1, get that increased power, and then everything you do hits harder, heals you more, all that good stuff. So really, try to start with your 1, get that echo. It's also very good poke, but really try to get that. It helps clearing your wave faster, it helps with everything you have. Everything you've got revolves around that 1. Although, you know, if you miss it, it's not the end of the world, but you really want to try. Now, let's get into the gameplay. So, we were able to poke Osiris whenever he teleported back in, you know, that's awesome. And we're still working on our Morningstar. We should have it online pretty early, but, you know, no problem. Now, if you see here, I'm not worried about this minion wave at all, guys. I'm going to go in there, and we're going to dive this a little bit. We see Niza show up, so I'm like, okay, I'm dead no matter what. Let's go ahead and take out Osiris. Sure enough, we're able to take him down. You know, hey, we died for it. We're 4-1. Guys, we've been doing work. And, you know, we ended up dying for that, you know, really, once I ulted, I saw that Niza there, and I was like, man, I'm probably dead no matter what, right? So, yeah, that's just like, hey, I might as well take someone with me. Now, unfortunately, we went down, but, you know, hey, sometimes you do. At least we took one of them with us. Now, I'm going to get back in lane. You know, Daji keeps taking the blue buff, which is nice, but that really affects me of not being able to utilize my entire kit. And, you know, getting that big 210-second buff on is absolutely huge. And, you know, I do have my ward there. I could go for their blue, but I am definitely worried about being collapsed on. And Camazotz, although he does have that little tiny jump, he does not have the best escape. And especially with them having a Niza, you know, that CC would just tear me to pieces. And if you see here, we're going to ult out of this. I wanted to go as far away from Niza as I could, and luckily we were able to get all the way out, and he ends up getting punished for that. You know, we barely missed that ultimate. Daji uses that ult right there, but Osiris is able to jump out. You know, no problem. Let's push this wave up and, you know, continue pushing. Hey, we're doing all right. And I've got my ward down. You know, let's try to keep an eye on that ward. I've got my little puddle there, and, you know, I should probably just heal up on that. But I was kind of saving it for a rainy day. I feel, you know, with my healing potion going, I could probably be okay with it right now. And let's kind of go in on this Osiris. I want to, let's box him, you know. And hey, we're doing pretty decent. Discordia shows up and deletes me. You know, we don't have any pressure in mid lane, and you know that's allowing those big rotations. And you know, hey, it's unfortunate, but is what it is. Now, I'm going to cut out that spawn timer. I mean, nothing major happened. We're going to go in on Osiris a little bit, and you see here, I'm just going to get rid of that puddle. And then, you know, hey, we're going to continue to push. We're going to poke him when we can, back off. You know, again, I want to try to push those minions under tower. If I can do that, you know, hey, that'd be great. And if we're able to get our power spike up and ult him under tower. And you can see the tower doesn't hit us when we're ulting, guys. So, you know, you can ult under tower to get away from those tower shots. You can actually start getting hit by the tower and then ult, and the tower will kind of go away from you. So that's one thing to definitely consider. Tower diving with your ultimate is something you can do and avoid a lot of damage. But, you know, again, you always want to pick the right time and opportunity. Now, if you see here, we're going to be able to go into this blue buff and take it out. And guys, one thing, if you go in from the front, sometimes I have definitely noticed where your vampire bats, you're targeted onto the big minion, and they'll hit the side minion. You might flick the mouse at the last second, or, you know, it just might have goofy collision, but that can definitely happen. So if you have just the extra second, go around to the back of the minion, just to definitely make sure that you get that bonus on. Now, so far this match, you know, there's no towers down. We really need to get a tower down. We really need to focus on a lane, take down the tower. You can see all of them are at like half health. You know, let's make a push and take a tower down, and you know that's really what we need right now. I'm gonna do everything I can in the solo lane, you know, and you know great. You know, if we can take down the solo lane, that'd be absolutely huge. I'm gonna go ahead and you know just continue to go in on Osiris, and if you see that we miss our vampiric bats, but we're hurting him, guys. We're hurting him bad, and you know he's gonna continue to box me. I'm gonna get this kill. I'm going for it. Let's take him out. We're able to take him out. Now, I'm going to go ahead and use my teleport and teleport back to my lane instead of going back to base. I'm just going to teleport back to my lane. You know, I kind of panic did it because I knew I was going to get some rotation. I wanted to get out of there very, very quickly, and you can see Nizal's right there. So, you know, hey, ended up working. We did kind of burn that glyph, which would have been nice to hold on to that. You know, I've been using the glyph a lot in the solo lane, and I miss my vampiric bats too, but I've been using the teleport glyph a lot in the solo lane, but I'm getting to where I like it less and less. You know, whenever I first started, I was like, man, you have these super powerful relics, and then you've got this one that just makes you go a little bit quicker, and now I kind of feel that unless you upgrade it, so unless you spend 500 gold on it, I just don't really feel it's all that great. I mean, it's nice, but in-game it's completely useless. Unless your team's using wards. And I mean, how often do y'all play games where people actually use wards? So, you know, I don't know. I'm definitely kind of torn between that and just pretty much every other relic. Now, just like always, we have a very balanced match, and, you know, people just don't like playing balanced matches, so they quit. That's definitely one thing about Smite, that it's heartbreaking, that you get into these really fun and engaging matches. You know, I would say this is a very balanced match, and, you know, we get a DC, and it's going to be... Since this match was so balanced, it's going to be very hard to make a comeback from this, but is what it is. Now, we end up going in on Osiris, and guys, look, we're boxing him. We're boxing him, guys. And, you know, we're healing up. Well, he's not doing a whole lot to us. We've got protections on. We've got our lifesteal. We outbox him in his minion wave. On his side of the map. Oh man, Camazotz, he does work, guys. He definitely does work, and that's going to allow me to set that lane, rotate to mid, or not really set it, but just keep that pressure up in that lane. Rotate to mid, and hopefully we can make something happen here. Discordia's right here. Let's go in on this, and we're able to get all that honor. Oh, we miss our jump. And since we don't have our ult, we're not going to be able to do a whole lot. Okay, we got to get out. You know, you know, unfortunately, we just didn't have that collapse from our team. You know, they instead of going in on that, they backed off. But, you know, is what it is. We're able to get a Nizal kill there, and I'm just going to back it. I got to get out of here. And let's get back to base, get healthy, and then hopefully get back to our lane. Now, from here, I can see Daji ended up heading to that solo lane, so I'm going to take this jungle camp, get my buff going. You know, that's what we want. I'm kind of waiting around, like, hey, let's make something happen. Poseidon's there, you know, our Kabrakan's there. We miss everything. Get stunned, and hey, let's go in on this. You know, I'm thinking we can actually make something happen. I hit my F for my relic, and that pops up on the screen, and I walk right into that cage because I'm absolutely. I do not like. I wish I could move that window. I actually look right here to see if I can move that window, and it's so annoying that it's in the middle of the screen. But I don't know. I grabbed something that was in the middle of the screen, moved it, but I don't think it worked. Now, once I spawn back in, I'm going to instantly teleport to my solo lane and get instantly deleted. It feels just terrible. You know, I mean, what can you say? There's 3 of them here. I thought there was just 2. I'm trying to get out, and Nizal ults me, but doesn't do just a whole lot. And I'm trying to hit my 4. And I went into the air, but I still, I don't know, I took damage somehow being in the air. I didn't think you could do that, but we end up going down, you know, instantly dead. Now, once we spawn back in, we're just spinning the wheels at this point. I think everybody's kind of getting upset. You know, it is what it is. Really, guys, this is how, since this last update when they fixed the matchmaking, this is how every match I've played has been. And it makes it very discouraging to play, but, you know, is what it is. Now, we end up, you know, I'm not exactly sure why we didn't engage. You know, if you saw, Daji kind of ran away from that. Like, I'm not exactly sure why we didn't really just full-hearted engage in on that fight before they really started rotating in, because, you know, we might have been able to burn one or two of them down. You know, I fully know that I can solo Osiris, so, you know, we should have really tried to do that as a team, but instead, we all kind of split up, and that's just poor teamwork. You know, we really should have focused one target, taken them down, and then we might have had a chance. You know, at least we would have been on even playing ground. But, you know, everybody kind of dispersed from that. And if you're never going to engage, you know, of course, that was on the tank. But, you know, if at this point in the match, we have to take every opportunity we can. And since there were two by themselves, you know, with three of us there, and we're all damage dealers, we should have been able to make that happen, but, you know, fortunately we didn't. Now, from here, I'm just looking for a pick. Hopefully we can get one. Hopefully we can make a rotation, take someone out. Yeah, and Kabrakan ends up going in on Daji, and he's by himself. We should be able to delete this, and you can see he's very, very tanky, but he's not doing a whole lot. You know, he's just kind of making me walk a little goofy. But we're going to be able to take him out. You know, with our heals, we were able to heal through all of his damage, and no problem. But we're in a bad spot now. Daji ended up going down there, and we need to get out. You know, we can probably still outbox Osiris, but we cannot outbox Osiris with the Serpent Missile Fireball chick. So let's just get out of that fight and get back to base. You know, hopefully heal up, and then my team ends up surrendering. Feels bad, man. But that's how every Smite match I've had for the past week has been. But what can you do? I really hope y'all enjoyed this Camazotz guide. If you did, show me some love. Leave me a comment. Think about subscribing. Add me on Smite, guys. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next video.